How was yesterday, Jenaba?
Yeah, yesterday was good, but you forgot to do something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm so mad at you.
No,
right
actually,
now.
we agreed.
You were supposed to wear
we
pink.
agreed to march. I mean, wear
it's
pink
not like
on this
march.
platform.
We agreed to be in solidarity with all the cancer warriors out there, as well as families who get to, you know, struggle with patients who have cancer, because, you know, palliative care is something that is beyond the patient. You know, it affects the psychology of all the individuals around a person who has cancer.
Oh yeah.
So really, cancer is real and it's deadly.
Absolutely.
And we all have a responsibility beyond October to remind everyone that it's something that we need to be careful. Aflatoxins, liver cancer happens to be one of the leading cancers in the Gambia because of the groundnut we consume. We do not look at it properly. Aflatoxins, you know, in the groundnut, and just other things, you know, drinking enough water for our kidneys and all of that. So let's, you know, look after ourselves.
Very important. It's also important for us to, I mean, you know, be in solidarity with people living with cancer. As we know, it affects many lives, you know, globally, and most people are struggling, you know, when it comes to cancer. So that's why we are on this platform, you know, reminding people, you know, taking our responsibility. I mean, you just mentioned I didn't wear pink. I mean, I left my pink shirt. I left it at home. You know, why next week the ma sol pink so
next week, inshallah. Good morning, Mr. Ka.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me this morning. I think it's important I just add a word or two onto this discussion regarding Cancer Month. I think awareness is important and advocacy. For me, I think the people that are really in the advocacy sector of this should really engage the general population, especially women, in local languages, so that, you know, because early intervention is very important in these things, and most of them might not be aware that where they need to go and what they ought to do. So therefore, reaching out to the general public, you know, like you said, cancer is a very serious and very deadly kind of, you know, menace that's been haunting humanity for a long. Some cancer are treated, but some are not. So it's something that's very elusive. But nonetheless, the advocacy aspect is important to bring awareness to the people, to the door of the ordinary people. Therefore, the engagement in terms of local languages is important in this.
Yeah, and thumbs up to QTV. We had like a whole lineup of activities as a television, taking it as a direct responsibility to ensure that we educate the public, and we will continue to do so even beyond. So Ibrahim, what is our African proverb?
Yes, it reads, no problem is settled until it is settled right.
Okay.
No problem is settled until it is settled right. Well, I think this is it's a direct, I mean, proverb, and you know, it means a lot, and it fits in our society. I mean, the way we handle things, the way we interact in public, the way we do, the way we handle situations. So I think it's important for us to look deep down, you know, the cause of certain things. I mean, it goes beyond only settling a problem, but bringing it to our societal context. I mean, you can relate to a whole lot of stuff when it comes to this.
Yeah, personally, Mr. Ka, you know, linking it to currently what is happening in the Gambia, what comes to my mind is the acute kidney injury. You know, that's what came to my mind, is because if it's not settled right, it can't be settled at the end of the day. We have to understand the root causes, going down far back to be able to solve it entirely. I know we're all blaming each other at this point in time, but I feel like the damage has been done, and all the ministry and all other stakeholders, including the UN and just other bodies that have the technical know-how, have to now come together to like solve the problem from the grassroots, where we say this is our lesson learned. Next time if we're importing, we have to vet. We have to take a look at the individuals that we're dealing with when it comes to medications.
Exactly.
And then it wouldn't repeat itself. To me, that is how we get to solve things right.
When you look at it, I mean, the proverb reads, no problem is settled until it is settled right. It's talking about issues have to happen before you know how to settle them.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, exactly. You need to, you know, you need to know problems before you bring solutions. So therefore now I think the government is doing this. I mean, they are going back to the drawing board, looking at where the problem is, where certain things can be taken good care of, so that these things won't repeat itself. Putting the right things at the right place to make sure these things don't repeat themselves.
Anyway, man, personally, I wouldn't say they are going back to the drawing board till I really see the measures that I talked about, as in
going back to the drawing board. What I mean is, I mean, giving information that, I mean, let all pharmacies stop using all these syrups. I mean, all these paracetamol syrups, let them stop selling them. For the meantime, until they know what the problem is. So I think that's a step.
My problem, Mr. Ka, is the fact of when something happens at this point in time, all pharmacists will be instructed to stop. But later on, few months down the line, we might not even have inspectors to go and look at these things. So what do you think?
With the kind of pressure, I mean, that is put on the government right now, I mean, they won't allow such history to repeat itself.
You think so?
Yeah, but this is a different situation. This is having multi-dimensions. It's both national and international. It's not just about Gambia. You're talking about a huge multi-billion business and also a company that is operating worldwide. It's not just here. So therefore, the interest is not just us. So when you have the interest, you know, including other parties, they have to get to the bottom of it, like the saying goes in your proverb. You know, you don't sugarcoat things. You have to get to the bottom in order to get the resolution that is right and proper. And this is an issue of life and death. So when our life and death is an issue, then there is no room for complacency. There is no room to allow any tendency for this to be repeated. And I think this has registered. It has registered on all those parties that are concerned. And the parties that are concerned is both the medical fraternity as well as the public at large. The public, we are very concerned that our children, our people are healthy. So for me, they should broaden it to look at what other medicines or medicaments this particular organization or company have brought, and then we revisit them and then not just focus on the syrup. This one we know it's established. They have taken measures that are immediate and decisive, that it has to be stopped, so which is right. So going forward, like you said, they have to probe into it, come up with a report, and not just a report to be sitting on the shelf and gather dust, but we have to implement. Implementation is sometimes an issue, but in this instance, it has to be, and I'm sure it will be.
Aside from this particular instance, they have to go ahead and look at all other importers. This is an opportunity for us to do that. Go back, look at all of these importers, look at all the restrictions, all the elements. You know, this is a matter of people's lives. You know, so it's not a matter of, or it's a law in our constitution and it's gathering dust. No, there's no room for this instant to actually gather dust. So I totally agree with that.
When this thing happened, the kidney injury, when I saw this, I mean, I said, I mean, don't we have a particular department that tests these medicines?
Are you really asking that question?
Test it. I mean, test it. I mean, to make sure. I mean, to test whether it is good for consumption in the Gambia.
But that's what MCA is about. They were saying they are not equipped. Of course, you've been talking about this all this period, so you know there is obviously an organization.
Well, I know there is, but I mean, do they have all this sophisticated?
No, those are the things that are being addressed as part of the mechanism or measures being taken.
Actually, you're talking about medication. That is at another level. We are talking about even the Food Quality Authority not even being able to test as simple as food, you know. So we're not.
But this is a wake-up call. That is if there is any good in this, it is a wake-up call in which the government must have to act and then ensure that, you know, the authorities that are responsible for this are fully equipped to do what is expected of them in order to protect the lives of the ordinary people. So.
Yeah, so I think we've dealt with the proverb quite deeply, but and then it really translate to our current situation as a country. So we'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, we will head right onto the newspaper review. But Ibrahim, I'm very sad that when we are going on our breaks, I can't mention any sponsor. I do not like that. When I am going for break, I want to say, this company is with us.
So we are calling all companies, I mean, to come sponsor this morning. Anything you put on this platform will sell.
Ibrahima Balde.
And
I did it. No man lidu makala. We'll go for a short break and we'll be right back.
Espas Motors is the largest and most modern auto service in the Gambia. Espas Motors is the only authorized dealer in Chevy, Mercedes-Benz trucks, Mercedes-Benz buses, Kia, Ford, Futon Mini and Midi buses, Futon trucks. At Espas Motors, we have qualified professionals who use modern technology to diagnose and repair all brands of motor vehicles. Espas Motor services include auto sales, auto repairs, vehicle painting, availability of high-quality spare parts, towing services. We are reachable at any time. Call Espas Motors on 352222 353-4444 or locate us on the Bertil Harding Highway. Espas Motors.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. So Ibrahima, now we head right on to the newspaper review. That's the point?
Yes, this is the point newspaper and the headlines. Some of the headlines, oil marketing companies should not be allowed to hold government to ransom. And of course, we also have pay rise for Senegambian migrants in Italy. 681 accidents occurred from January to date, says mobile traffic boss. That's King Colley. And we also have the Methodist Church of the Gambia ordains and commission ministers, evangelists, and okay, it's not clear. Lay workers. Okay. I think it's lay workers. The printing, it's not visible there. Yeah, so that's what we have. Yes.
So moving on, deaths from acute kidney injury, now 70, and also accident victim demands justice. This is Forea, and then bakers outline challenges as they commemorate World Bakers Day. And this is from the National Council for Civic Education. Gambian youth largely underrepresented in politics. Should that be their concentration as a council at this point in time? I'm not sure about that. Maybe Mr. Ka will tell us. And apart from that, moving on, we head right on to The Voice. Here we have that Sena Bombay and co manslaughter case adjourned. And also, Parliament will not allow institutions to act anyhow with public funds, says Honorable Mbo. And also, the Ministry of Health partners to embark on national integrated measles vaccination campaign. And also, son of late Lieutenant Basiru Barrow calls on government to implement the TRRC recommendations. That is all we have here. Yes, moving on.
All right. I mean, let's start with failure of government to check excesses of landlords. It's worrying. I mean, I know the headline is talking about landlords increasing rent and at the same time not following well the rules that are put in place for tenants to live comfortably in their compound. So I mean, there are a lot of issues when it comes to tenants and landlords, Mr. Carr. I mean, some of them complain a lot about, yes, I think.
Yeah, that's the point newspaper.
You need to take from here.
Yeah, that's the point newspaper. You can continue. Yeah. That's the point newspaper.
I hope the control room guys are
they're good, they're good.
All right, so Mr. Carr, this is worrying and people are complaining.
Yeah,
you just mentioned, do you have the rent tribunal here?
Absolutely, that's what I was going to say. I don't understand. If there is a mechanism and an institution and a law exists, you have a complaint, that is where you go. If the complaint, if they fail you at the rent tribunal, you can come in the public domain and say, this is what I reported, this is the outcome of it. I mean, I know that the government has set up that as a mechanism to resolve disputes, because you must understand that landlord-tenancy agreement, this is a private contractual thing, but there are laws, rules, and regulations there. So you must go there like any other thing. You know, if you have a problem, there is somewhere you go to resolve the thing. So here, if that was not existing, then one can say but it is existing. So they must go there to look at what the law and the rules say, so that they will be able to apply it to defend their rights. Because the rights are both sides. You have both the landlord have rights, the tenant equally have rights. Because sometimes some tenants can be in your property and leave a lot of destruction that will cost you millions after they leave. So that's why this have to be looked in that context. You must contextualize what is happening, whether an increment is something, what improvement have you been doing in order to justify it, how much have you increased. All these things should be settled.
You know, I would have asked you how effective is the rent tribunal in the Gambia, but I mean, I know you wouldn't be able to tell me anything.
So you need to invite the rent tribunal.
So
maybe we should invite them to come so that we can know what they are doing and also what the general complaints are.
We should even know the number of complaints they
exactly.
receive.
Otherwise, you speculate if you don't have
important.
something factual, because you don't just pick up a headline and know. You have to get to the bottom of it, like you said, by bringing the parties, tenants that are complaining. You go to the tribunal and bring them on board, because it's a court of law that sits. So therefore, we must have to bring them to trash out the chaff from the grains.
Yeah. So moving on, the National Council for Civic Education is saying Gambian youth largely underrepresented in politics. Obviously, if somebody knows me, they know how much I'm concerned about Gambians being underrepresented. But I'm talking about the timing, you know, at this point. Do you think this is supposed to be the concentration of a whole council to promote civic education with what is happening currently in the country?
Yeah, for me, I don't understand that kind of statement or sentiment. The youth, once you are 18, you are eligible to vote and to be voted. So if the youth see themselves as a component, they should be able to drive their agenda if they constitute a high number in any political party. Parties do have their regular congresses. So this is where elections take place. And once you are 18, you can stand for any position within the ranks. If you are competent and capable, and the youths feel that they should support you as a group, they can force that vote to go through to you. So I don't understand why they should always be asking to be given. You should take.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mr. There are just some existing barriers
sometimes
that we need to accept.
Like the taking process.
Yeah.
I mean, is very stiff.
Because even political parties themselves will not accept it. That is just the reality. How many
they don't accept the youth participating in
most
there?
Of it is at the discretion of a political party to put whoever they want, for example, in a constituency to be voted in.
Oh, yeah.
And then if they don't, then these youth are helpless.
But when it comes to that, there are a number of factors that come to play in selecting. You have to look at the dynamics of a constituency. What is the chance or the potential or the possibility of this individual winning? That is the priority, utmost, that a political party will look at first and foremost before selecting whether this woman will do well there. But I don't even think they should be considering age. Once you are 18 and above, that should not be... Well, they do
in the Gambian context, unfortunately. They consider these things, and it's very unfortunate. But back to the question, this Council for Civic Education have received a lot of criticisms about not speaking when they need to speak about things generally. You know, and educating when it's right. I know this headline is
you have reservation about it.
Yes.
But civic education, political representation, nothing can be more important.
Yeah, for real. It's nothing can be more important. But I have the concept that some of these statements should come according to what is happening to be able to educate the people as a council. So
what would you have advised that the council should focus on rather than this? Maybe
the current injury, the current kidney injury, about educating parents about it. You know, what to avoid, what to do, what not to do, where to go. Because it's all part of civic education. Well, telling people about what's right.
We have a lot on things.
They came here and we had to tell them that, hey, there's a lot that you guys are not doing as a civic education.
Yes.
You go out on around town, you can't even see anything that symbolizes they're engaging us.
So we have to bring them then for them
again.
To
the only time you see active service from civic education is when politics is approaching. I mean, the political atmosphere. I mean, that's the only time you start seeing them going up and down. But apart from that, there is none. you know. So I think this is a serious business here, Mr. Ka.
Yeah, I don't know what their remit is in terms of, you know, their operations, but I'm saying when it comes to what Jainaba was saying, specifically, I think there are expertise areas also to which they can address and may not be able to dwell into, like this. For instance, you have the medical council and other, you know, medical personnel that should be able to address that more in detail than them. But I think civic education is very general, and the reason why they focus on politics also is important, because that is the most decisive institutions where decisions are made. So therefore, to enlighten people to become aware about what constitutions are, what budgets are, I think those are the fundamental issues that they should definitely focus, and rightly so. I think those are the things that they're really focusing on now.
Yeah. So moving on, we see Honorable Mbo talking about the fact that Parliament will not allow institutions to act anyhow with public funds. I think it's a good thing coming from our Parliament.
Absolutely. They are the watchdogs. They are the eyes, the ears, and the mouth of the public. That's why they're sitting there for. So therefore, they must hold to account all the institutions, and that's why they have their various committees that will interrogate, you know, in a deeper, you know, level to establish how funds are being used. It's part of the accountability structure and part of their responsibility. So we don't expect any less from them other than to just probe into each of these institutions, look at their performances. Are they viable? Should we continue to sustain them? Should we get rid of them? Should we privatize? These are the things that they must look into to address, because otherwise public funds can be going down the drain, and the services are not matching that, and that's not very healthy for returns in terms of, you know, what the people expect.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that really the Parliament now pays attention to small details, even news items on television, and even able to pick up things and take it to the Parliament and question. I think that is a good direction that they're taking, really.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. For some of them, they are new, but you know, that's the only way they can understand what the cries of the public are, and that is what they need to go and talk about. This is why they are there. They are there as a bantaba. All the Gambians cannot sit in one place and argue, so therefore they are our eyes, our ears, and our mouth. So they must scrutinize everything within those committees so that we know that they are discharging the duty and responsibilities bestowed upon them.
Yeah. And also the Ministry of Health, I think this is more of a, you know, sensitization. The Ministry of Health and partners are about to embark on an integrated measles vaccination campaign, which I think it's a good thing. So I think people should just be aware that the ministry will be going round to ensure that, and parents need to open up a little bit about vaccinations. I know it's still a problem, really, for parents to, certain communities to accept vaccinations. There's still that thought of, oh, if they take this, something else is going to happen to them. But I think with the coming of the COVID-19 and vaccine that we had to accept at some point, maybe that might have one way or the other just change mindsets. What do you think?
It's just about trust. Once they have trust and faith in the institutions and government, if they tell them things, they are amenable to do it. So they would normally follow, you know, whatever guidance that they're being given. But if there is lack of trust and faith in the organizations or the people, then that is where the problem is. They will hesitate to come and do as being directed. But by and large, I think generally, because we've had a primary health care for a long time now, so most of the Gambia is covered, so they would have been aware. It's not as if they don't. Gambia is a very small country, and they have reached all aspects of the Gambia by now. They know the role and responsibility of the health workers within their communities, and they trust them. So what they tell them, normally they go by that. But these are very difficult times. These are times of doubt. These are times when people are worried and scared about medicine and medication, so therefore they must up their game in order to reassure them.
That's
exactly.
Any other interesting headline there?
Yes, 681 accidents occurred from January to date, says mobile traffic boss. I mean, it's really alarming.
Yeah, that is worrying. It means all of us potentially, you're talking just deaths, not even injuries that are, you know, life, you know.
And that's from January
to date. To date. That's absolutely, that's an indictment, honestly. I think Gambia, we should really wake up and address these issues. What are the issues? There are a host of issues that would be the main cause of it. First, we know that the roads, most of them are very poor in their conditions. You have a lot of potholes, so people tend to duck and dive as they drive. You're swerving from one end to the other. The other maybe is speeding, you know, in certain areas. The other one is the condition of the cars, also the vehicles. They are not roadworthy. Sometimes you see in the middle of the night a vehicle with one eye, you know, driving, and some of them don't even have brakes or don't even have wipers when it's raining, and some of them don't even have number plates. That's the most worrying aspect, because you can hit and run. You can kill a person and then nobody would know who you are, because you cannot be traced, because there is no accountability when there is absence of number plates. And they drive so freely, leisurely around, and I'm like, the police officers, they don't even take any concern or worry about these things. And these are important things. So they should be able to really look at the statistics, the main places where accidents happen the most, hotspot areas, and also look at whether it's about drugs, alcohol, all these are things, or people on their phones. So there are a lot of things that we have to address in order to reverse this trend. It is unfortunate, but people are needlessly losing their lives for reasons of being reckless or for unroadworthiness of cars. So these are things that we can really take practical steps to really
It is
reverse.
important that you mention it. I mean, there are many things that should be looked, you know, at. The police have a responsibility, the people themselves, I mean, those responsible. There are many things that we should look into. When you look at it, I mean, the cost of many accidents are blamed on speeding, but also whether the police are doing the right thing. I mean, looking at the right, the vehicle that are route worthy. I mean, these are very important to check. I mean, you will drive on the highway and you will see a vehicle that is not route worthy, a vehicle that will just come and bump into your car, and you know this vehicle is not route worthy. And the issue of number plates, you also mentioned it. You can see certain vehicles using different number plates. I mean, really, I have seen that.
That's criminal.
I have seen that here. You will see a vehicle, you know, it's a new vehicle, but it is using an old number plate. So all these things, there are a lot of issues, Mr. Carr.
In Europe, you can, even if you have a brand new car, before you get out run it, there must be, you must be given a temporarily kind of number, which you will have to use to move it from A to B. This is for accountability. That is one. The two is attitude, the attitude of the people in terms of road, both pedestrians and also drivers. We have very poor attitude the way that we walk on the roads. You will see some people walk leisurely. A car is coming, you know that this is high risk. You decide to cross the road at the wrong time when it's speeding. Potentially, there could be an accident and you will lose life or limbs. So these are things. Attitude is one, roadworthiness, the quality of the roads that we run on. I'm sure they have the details, because as they happen. And also we should have testing kits for alcohol use. Sometimes, you know, in Europe they have to test you when there is an accident. Or if they see you driving in a way that is erratic, they'll have to stop you and breathalyze you to test you and see how much alcohol or drug is in your system.
Right.
Because these are things that, you know, affect your judgment when you are driving. And judgment is very important. In the absence of judgment, there are accidents happen. And most of these happen because, most of these accidents happen because of poor judgment. So when you are training to drive, they don't just teach you how to move the car from A to B. That is the easy part, especially with automatic cars. You can easily get in, move it A to B. But attitude is something that they emphasize. They train you road traffic signs, road attitude use, when to stop, when to move. All these things are part of a holistic approach towards it.
I've seen many people, I mean, who acquired a driving license without going through the right process of driving test. I mean, you know, they will just provide them a driver's license. After paying money, they give them a driver's license. I've seen a person whom you know, he cannot drive, but he got a driver's license. Can you imagine?
That's really, but that you will always have criminals doing that. In UK, there was one person that was convicted because he used to take exams, driving exams.
On behalf of other people.
And a lot of people. So there are a lot of people who are getting licensed legally, but they were not the people, the very person. So there are things that can fail in the system, but that should not stop, you know, the system. What they should do is to link driving lessons with driving license. You have to have a certain number of lessons, like 20 lessons before you apply. And also you have to do a theory test to know the road signs, road attitude, all these things have to be taught. Once you have these things in you, then you will be more considerate because you will know the risk. You will become aware. I've shared in this morning show defensive driving. I don't know whether you have it. You should revisit that and look at it. What are you doing? You're looking ahead. You're avoiding the use of mobile phone. It's a distraction because accidents can happen within the flash of a minute. Your judgment, you are on the phone talking or you are texting. Before you look, there is something that happened.
Yeah, and actually, I'm actually just reliably informed that in Senegal, they are putting in measures to ensure that when you cause accidents for like 2 to 3 times, there's a stamp that they have on your number plate where they tend to identify that, okay, at some point they can revoke your license because you're not behaving well in traffic. All of those things they take a look at. So and also the Gambia is also kind of trying, because now you could see how they decided to link the ID card to the driver's license as well. So generally, well,
yeah, in the West, they would deduct points depending on the infraction.
Okay.
Like they will deduct if you have, let's say the license is 10 points as a whole. So if they deduct about 5 or 6 points, they will suspend your license.
They will.
And most of these commercial drivers, if they were applying, the law was really strict in applying that.
They will behave.
They would behave. And that is what is lacking. How are they penalizing people that are committing these traffic offenses in order to ensure that we protect the public at large? So this is something that we must all take very seriously, because we're talking about ourselves, we're talking about children, because we are always in vehicles or we are on the roads. So therefore, and the traffic rate, the accidents are exceptionally high. It's unacceptable. It's something that they have to do something about.
It should definitely be looked into. But thank you so much, Mr. Ka, for joining us on the program. Looking forward to another engagement with you on the program. So we will now head right on to our community watch, which is very interesting. It has to do with the Gambia Organization for the Visually Impaired, GOVI, commemorated Worldwide Cane Safety Day over the weekend to celebrate the achievements of people who are blind or visually impaired and the important symbol of blindness and as a tool of independence. So we'll be joined by Gaira Lamin, who's the treasurer as well as a teacher and a Braille technician at GOVI, and he will join us here to further educate us about the importance of the white cane to the visually impaired. I'm looking forward to this, Ibrahima, because this is an independent individual, you know, blind and being able to repair Braille machines, sends text messages, emails, and does just everything that we do. So I'm excited about this segment. We'll just go for
and I learned that, I mean, this morning, he's the only person that repaired this machine.
Yes, so quite independent. So we'll take a look at the story, and when we come back, we will get to have him here, and he will educate us more about the topic.
Fofu bari yo ye wow bul fate kostoro ay way ndanan waxal way ibotam fofu bari yo ye wow bul fate serekunda wo sanke ñooñu mën a dimbal ci malaria ooy nga ñoo maa koy tuuri leen mbalit yee sago muta soo buggee rëcc ci malaria woo bul fàtte doomu ndeyam mun tey ga na yëpp dee suusu lal bi jee na yëpp dee waaye rayal yeah nen setal keri oytu tilim tilim mbalit mi yow de ko tuuri oytu tilim tilim sa sanke yow tagal mako moytu malaria pato bi ñun buñ ko alaw oytu malaria waaw bilay sonal nga ñu malaria sonal nañu ñun ñi yow de sonal nga ñu
hey Mr. Mosquito
loo ci wax
sa coow li bari na lool
bari
ren ji doo fi jëlee coco pare nañ ànd ak Dr. Samate
waaw ak full force
hey Mrs. Mosquito
waxal waay
samat saf na lool
saf na
ren ji doo ñu tere nelaw
bayandoor
doo ñu tere nelaw
bayandoor
karal ma dem ba Banjule
bul fa jéema toog yooyam fa
foofu laa jóge dugg Birkama
bul fa jéema toog yooyam fa
karal ma dem ba Talindingo Farokono
bul fa jéema toog yooyam fa
na yëpp dee
suusu laal biije foo munti dem ci réew mi yooyam fa
suusu laal biije
foo munti dem ci réew mi yooyam fa
na yëpp dee
suusu laal biije foo munti dem ci réew mi yooyam fa
albulo kosi
komiti ninjaliba albulo kosi
albulo kosi
komiti ninjaliba albulo kosi
wow ora tagin wai dike tagin wow tagin sanke
wonin KMC
ñooñu mën a dimbal ci malaria woy
nga ñooma koy
tuuri leen mbalit yee kaañu fagaru man mooma gënal kaañu faju waaw ku sanke sangi ni takal na yëpp dee
suusu laal biije foo munti dem ci réew mi yooyam fa
walaay
suusu laal biije foo munti dem ci réew mi yooyam fa
ambiance waaw rajin tajagin
bul fa jéema dem yoo yang fa
Ibo Town.
bul fa jéema dem
suñ la fa mayee land right now di nga ko jël.
Ibo Town
waaw.
xanaa ma def ko story building ma ren ko.
nga ren ko nit ñi dëkk fa yooyu di leen
ma
maata.
ren ko out.
su waay yow doo fa dikk.
du ma fa digga de.
baax na daal.
non waaye Ibo Town sax xam nga rek booy Ibo Town suma ay goro ñoo fa nekk de.
sa ay goro
suma ay goro fa nekk bu ma indi ay jafe-jafe.
kon boobu du ma ko laal xaaral ma bàyyi ko du ma laal boobu noonu Eliza ma bu ma ko laal de. waaw xaaral ma bàyyi ko mu jaala parce que ay goro moom dañ
slide ko mu dem.
waaw ay goro dañ diis. So as I mentioned we're joined by Gaira Lamin, who is a treasurer as well as a teacher and a braille technician at Gove. So they commemorated Worldwide Cane Safety Day on Saturday. But luckily for us, our conversation is going to be beyond this, because this is an amazing man who does some amazing stuff that are quite outside of celebrating White Cane Safety Day. But before we get into that, good morning, Mr. Lamin.
Good morning, madam.
We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you, and you look very good on television.
Yeah.
That's nice. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So generally, can you just take us through your journey? You know, because like the saying goes, disability does not mean inability, and you have proven that in different areas, being a teacher, being a treasurer, being a braille technician, and just every other thing that you do. You know, how do you juggle all of these responsibilities?
Yeah, these are very simple things, because people thought, you know, when you become a blind, or when you are blind, you become a non-entity, or you cannot do things. You know, the reason why is because the belief that people have is that, you know, they emphasize more on their side. That is, they depend more on their side. So people thought when you don't put your eye on something, that means it can be possible. I mean, you know, for the blind people, you know, it's different. So that is why, I mean, everything goes on with regards to, I mean, trying to, I mean, to do your best. That's all. Because me, when I was a child, I mean, up till now, you know, I don't know even what is blindness. For me, things are normal. Even if God comes and tell me, yes, I want to make your eye to, you know, I will say, no, forgive me until next world, because it will bring back my sense of memory in another dimension, which I don't want. So right now, I'm okay with what I am now. So, I mean, apart from that, you know, the reason why I am here is because I just want to, I mean, demonstrate and to show people and to showcase issues so that people can understand that being blind does not mean an inability. Although I am here, but there are also blind people, many blind people who can do different things, you know, not apart from me. I mean, you have so many blind people who can do technology, I mean, and so forth. For me, when I was a child, you know, I can do, you know, repairs, fan, I mean, even electricity, I go into that. I know if I say, many people will be surprised. I mean, even car mechanic, I also go into it. You know, what I do is that I try to see that I have a taste on all these things, and then I see what else to do. But I can do many hosts of things, many things.
Yeah, so we will take it step by step. We know you're a teacher, and even taught one of our technicians here, you know. So that is exciting. It's good that we have somebody say, oh, he was my teacher. So, you know, how has that career been for you? Because, you know, I know there were challenges on the way as well, having to deal with kids and all of that might have been difficult, but tell us about that.
Yeah, very simple, because when I was after finishing Nusra High School, I mean, I engaged in private classes. I mean, so I thought that I also need to contribute my in the development of the nation. So I cannot just sit like that. So I organized private classes, and which I help many of them. I mean, how do I do it? You know, I mean, it's a long story, because if I want to start, it will take a lot of time. And I wish Omar himself, Morja himself, may be here to explain more on how I did so. But all what I do is I try to be innovative. You know, everything you have to think, I mean, fast, and you have to think of best way that suits you. So this is how I was able to do such until, I mean, I was able to teach so many people, so many. There are some people, they are working in banks. There are some people have gone. I mean, fortunately for me, there was a day, I mean, you know, somebody, I taught him when he was, I taught her when he was in grade 11, 12, 10, 11, 12. And she is now in the US. You know, I've even forgot about her. So fortunate for me, you know, when I was trying to transfer in my compound, I have a problem of borehole. So I was just, you know, talking to her. I said, oh, me, definitely I want to transfer, but I don't have borehole. You know what she did? She automatically, he said, okay, don't worry, don't worry. For the first time, he sent me 29,000. Another time, she sent me 25,000, making 54. He has contributed. I told him, why do you do so? He said, no, you have contributed a lot towards my education. By that time, my parents were poor, and you were able to come and help me. So today, I also should help you. And many other people also.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's fulfilling,
this is very interesting, Jennifer. I mean, he's sitting here, I mean, talking to us. I mean, imagine. He can do things that we cannot even do.
Exactly. Why Mr. Lamin? Ki dama ko buga dok like ko dara. Mba ki daf they give back to teacher Samiye. Man dama re mun amit ak suma teacher ni.
Okay.
Man foguma ki daf de tase man sa dama fi am teacher tay duma ko baye mu ñibelu
suma teacher xolal suma teacher ba ngi ni suba tel maak mom lañ dé waxtaan dañ dé texante mu ngi melni we have that connection
man laajuma lolu man li ma la laaj moy
every student bo gis warulo faté sa teacher warulo faté sa school
doxuñ fi yoy man li ma wax moy nga tassé sa primary school teacher wala sa high school teacher nga ne ko tay sa am li man si yoy lay
some of them are watching I know
dang dé
nonu la dé meli nonu la fa wara dé meli
laajuma la ko ne ko lo di wax
bana maybe ben bes nga gëna suma teacher ngeen tassé
bana dal but anyway I know that must have been fulfilling seeing those people giving back. But before we go to the demonstration as well, quickly Ibrahima, I think we should take a look at the white cane, the significance of it. Yes. So Mr. Lamin, you can just take us through that quickly before
white cane, the celebration is very important because it was set aside by the United Nations General Assembly in 1981. I mean, this was set aside for the motorists and pedestrians and that of the cyclists. I mean, and it's important because people need to understand that this is a cane, it's a symbol. I mean, it guides you. It doesn't show you the way as people normally say. Comme ñeneen ñi li ñoo foog ne, yes, the cane bi mola de yóbbu. Mais ko yoon bi daf la de ay daf la léegi tey cane banta bi dina ko woon yoon bi. No, banta bi it doesn't show anybody because amul machine bu la hëcca. It doesn't have any machine, no engine. It doesn't even have eyes to show you the way. So it's the blind that directs the cane. So it's very important because it helps you to protect you, to safeguard you from entering ditches or from entering obstacles that may be harmful as far as you are concerned. So this is the main important. So for drivers, they need to understand that this is the cane, and pedestrians, whenever they come across the cane, they should know that this particular person he or she needs help. He or she needs help rather. So that means it's very important. So we need to sensitize.
And we can see Omarja in that video, your former student, making sure you're safe.
We
can see that. We can see that right now in the video. But what do you have to tell drivers, because they have a role to play.
Yes.
Drivers have a huge role to play, Ibrahima, when it comes to, this whole discussion. Because most of the time they don't want to take their time to allow people to cross over or something. So they also have a significant role. Am I right?
Yeah, for the drivers, all what I just want to tell them is that for them to be mindful of blind people. Whenever they come across blind people beside the road, raising their cane, I think they should give them opportunity for them to cross the road. Sometimes you reach at a particular point whereby, you hardly come across so many people passing by to help. If you are around other crowded places, it's easy for blind people. But if you go to certain areas whereby you seldom see some people passing by, he or she may need help. So it's only drivers that can help. So whenever they come across the cane, and they should help, to wait. And also, the moment they allow them, they should not be, honing, to confuse the blind person. So beep, so something, maybe the blind may think, oh, the car has already come, maybe going to the left, while the driver also has targeted the left. Accidentally, it happens. Because it happens in 1997 when we've just celebrated the cane, and then at Jimpex, yes, when the driver, we have somebody who was crossing the road, and that very day, it was knocked down by the head, was smashed off, and then he died.
How do you manage with the drainage system that we have in the Gambia?
Very good.
Most of them are not covered.
In fact, we've said it over and over. They thought, especially those drainage around Jimpex and so on. We've said it over and over for them to cover those things. In fact, it's not for only us. So many people have also entered in that. And, car drivers, whenever there is rainy season, the water will come up to a level whereby the drivers may not be able to see. But we have said it over and over. But maybe with this, maybe today they will think of it.
I am very happy that, I mean, look, he is not only here to support his people, but also considering the drivers as well.
Yeah.
So this is
I wish the drivers
exactly
they're thinking
this
that
is
way.
this is very important.
Yeah. It's for everybody.
Now I am Jenaba. I mean, I just want to know, how do we use this machine?
Yeah, but bala lolu man dafa am ben question bu important bu ma bëgg laajte dañ ma ko yónnee sax.
Wow.
Mr. Lamin, Ibrahima dafa ne am na point bi moo toll dafa bëgg a taka ñaari jabar. Benn la amangum.
Waaw. Waaw man suma advice rek.
Waaw te yow ñaar nga am.
Waaw.
So dama bëgg a xam lan nga koo wax. Su ko defee moom tam mu réguler parce que xam nga boy si ndaw yi maasam yi.
Anga di first advice rek mooy lu ma ko bëgg a advice mooy.
Waaw.
Nekkul ne man suma takkee ñaar dama war a encourage ñëpp taka. Du dee easy. benn da nga war a am fit. waaw fit moom soo ko amut fàtteel. yo waaye ba pare ñaareel da nga war a am da nga war a nekk indi position. pour mun a taka jabar. nekkul ne da ngaa taka rek doo joxe dara nangam nga expect yooyu.
non waaye gis nga.
ba pare Mr. Lamin
ñetteel da nga war a pare pour émaler gars yi.
non gis
loolu tam mu fa. soo munut yooyu.
waaw
forget waaye am na yeneen jabar jigéen yu nga xam ne ñoom tam.
waaw
jaral na seen jëkkër yi am ay janxa.
daan ñu taka
ñaareel. loolu fiyaaw
thank you
su ko defee loolu. daf dee nekk yow nga xamuloo yaa ngi bokkaan keneen jigéen because sa góor mun naa jékki-jékki ñëw tey dama soona ay te yow rek la su ko defee fekk am na fu mu jaar yu bari yow pour yow kenn la fekk mu ngi so is better nga allow sa jigéen
waaye xam nga tamit Mr. Lamin dafa am ñu bari ñuy mbuboo religion
waaw
man damaa wax ak góor yu bari ñu naa ma yàllaa ko santaane ma ne leen yàllaa ko santaane waaye dafa ànda sarta
déglu ma wax la
sarta buñ tegal la
waaw sarta bi nag waaye yéen doo leen dee pare pour accept loolu so léegi da ngeen war a try ngeen accept loolu weda xamu leen góor hardly xanaa mu lifin pour waaye pour mu am benn yàlla moo xam lu mu def si góor xam nga man xaw ma lu nekk si yow
man nag Mr. Lamin loolu duma ko nangu kon jigéen nag fii jigéen nañ leen ñu agree
te court matter short weda agree nga agree soo amee jëkkër amin xamal ne xëj na waxuma balaa maa tas sey
xëj na
amaguma jëkkër nag waaye ma yaa ma ragal loo
xamal ne yaa ngi ko bokkaa ñeneen
déedéet man rek suma dugaa ka génn li ma ko nangu ma bañ ma ko doon
Alaaji Lamin wax nga dëgg xam nga affaire bi mooy
Mr. Lamin man suma dugaa ka génn yow
tey dama li fi nii ak nii waaw fekk xamuloo waaw especially soo gis nga nag léegi waaw ñu ngi dem production xam nga
so mu tere télévision yow fekk dem na raay astafurlah
non yëpp si waxtaan bi la xam nga gis na
Mr. Lamin waaye dëgg bi lañ ko wax
accept leen because da ngeen war a xam ne jigéen ñoo ëpp a góor yi so yéen in fact sax yéen a tax sax urée bi di bëri ay lifin yi di bëri yéen a tax lu bëri ngi xew soo gisee ñeneen ñu ngi biir unwanted pregnancy yëpp yéen la because ku am benn da ngaa ne man rek la moo am yow doo dee consider sa yeneen jigéen yi it's not correct
léegi sister yu fa nekk kan moo leen a taka
déedéet waaye nekkul di lifin pour nga wax ne da ngaa accommodate keneen waaye man yal na ma si yàlla musal man yal na waa man ñaanal leen ma jàmm
léegi
bu lay fàtte
Lamin bul ko
nañ dem si bril
jéena ma li nga bëgg léegi nu ñoo def mooy nañ dellu si machine bi
waaw
machine bi naka la moo doxee
machine bi dafa nekk wi six dot machine la moo dee provide braille like just like pig brown fox jumps over gis nga something like dafa produce braille so this braille 6 dots la nii so danga di quick brown fox this is fox jumps over so gis nga so danga di gis ne loolu 6 dots la ak space backspace only 6 dots so waaye dafa necessary pour nit yi xam braille bi so danga gis ne bii kenn mënu ko mun a repair man nag xam nga because man bu ma nekkee xale dama dee ñëw di ubbi di laal because man dama technical minded yàlla def dimbale ma dem góofi yónni ma South Africa in 1998 pour ma dem complete course bi so loolu la so da nga gis ne machine bi dafa important so da nga gis ne suñ amut ku ko kuko
repair
da nga gis ne ba tey machine yi dañoo bëgg di yaaxu dañoo yaaxu so loolu dafa nekk lu nga xam ne dafa important so loolu moo tax man fu mu nekk ni maa ngi try di train ñeneen ñu ñoo repair machine bi so ñaari problème lañ am fii ci Gambia bi mooy ku repair machine si ak how to read in and write in Arabic Braille boobu moom gannaaw yàlla man rek maa mun a teach and also I mean
so dang de mun a binda arab ak li waaw
machine bi nag de mun a Braille Arabic Braille boobu moom dang de mun loolu nga because dafa nekk lu nga xam ne looloo tax ñu because dañ observe ne machine ñu ngi jànga English Braille te English Braille dafa nekk lu nga xam ne dafa important gis nga because isuma di right screwdriver to open lii waaye nii dafa su openee
because bi tiny screws la
waaw tiny screws la waaye nonetheless foog rek ma jéem a démontrer pour nit yi xam tuuti dinañ fi ñëwaat wala dinaa leen invite ngeen ñëw fu may lifine su ko defee ngeen xam
so Ibrahima mun ngaa gis Braille bi lu mu jot a binda
gis naa mu ngi binda ay dots de waaye mu ma ko
doo ko mun a read because xam naa affaire yi jànguloo ko
dama foogoon ne dots yi su ñëwee daf dee visible
waaw
dots yaa ngi nii mu ngi mel ni yéen Lamin
waaw
comme seen feelings ngeen dee jàngee
waaw
da ngeen dee feel ngeen understand
waaw it's like tactile dafa mel ni yow tey soo laaloon dara di nga mun a xam ne lii la bi tam
screw bi nekkut pour lii bi
screw bi nekkut pour lifin bi bu ma doon ñëw dama yaakamti woon bi nga xam ne fii sa QTV sax ñoo ma abal
Bakary amuloo screw bu ndaw
waaw so da nga gis
ñëw na
waaw non yéen QTV
Bakary yëpp la amee fi
waaw soo léegi yow seetal ban mooy
indi rek baal man
ma seet
ma dimbale mu ngi ni
ma seet
bii nii four corner la
de four corner la soxla
four corner noonu waa jox ko konte
ma seet
waaw bi ubbi na ko
waaw
exactly
yéen ma ne ko yéen da ngeen lifin
waaw
so loolu la so da nga gis ne Braille machine bi dafa important so right now am na ñu nga xam ne ok for nga ko yow gaaw nga so dafa am ñu nga xam ne ñu dama leen door naa di leen train on how to use these things so da nga gis ne lu am solo la nga because lii bul gis nii lii dafa seer
Braille bi
machine bi dafa seer
because am na time boo xam ne sax ñu ngi doon celebrate Braille Day ñu ngi wax ne amuñ enough sax enough Braille machines amut ak yooyu noonu
gis nga so nii nga gis top bi génna Braille machine dafa seer benn rek is costing almost lu ñoo wooye almost $25,000
waaye loolu
$25,000
loolu bariwut di
25,000 benn
waaw loolu bariwut
imagine soo si waree jënd
ñaata xale
waaye we are talking about commitment kay la ñu waxante dëgg dañ dee mun a jël xaalis padiyem benn ministre mun ñaata
ñu pisir pasare ko
ñaata padiyem benn ministre ñaata Braille machine la mun a jël
loolu la de
yéen tam nañ waxante dëgg
loolu de war naa am de
so man I was expecting nga ne ma ay
non
amount yoo xam ne
sax waaye nag waaye ma wax la nag leena mu ngi fa mooy ne the thing is kii the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education dañ dee jënda yi digga ñu ngi jënda yi de waaw
waaye lifin desktop computer lii nii
waaw
computer bu desktop ak Braille ba na gën a seer
desktop computer yi
waaw
computer lu moo jaar ak Braille dafa équivalent de because xam nga dafa depend dafa am
sometimes mu gën koo seer sax
waaw
so computer bi ñoo jënd di ko donate to organisation the same way Braille tamit mën nañ koo defee noonu konte
so bii moo Braille machine bi so waaye dama war gis nga lii bu ko gis nii dafa bari ay parts so many parts so di nga gis ne gis nga baay xoolal lii yëpp baas la gis nga soo écarté each bar gis nga soo pressé bar bi daf day ñëw fekka dafa am ay dots 6 dots so each bar dafa position in a dot so soo pressé gis nga bar si moo ekkati ko yéen a ngi gis nga ñetti bar moo ekkati ko so ñetti dots mooy ñëw fii tam ñetti bar moo ekkati ñetti dots ñooy ñëw on the right side so dots yi tam dañ arrange in such a way that xam nga time amul fii la dots yi nekka so soo ko ubbee dafa am comme poursa nii so nii la def
poursa bi mooy binda
waaw so poursa bu nekka dafa baa bi dafa position so da ngay soo pressé dafa def nii
moo ko dee dóor si suuf
moo ko dóor dafa dóor gis nga daf ko dóor mu ekkati nii
so léegi Mr Lamin fi mu nekk nii dafa mel ni dañoo dem seeti leneen
waaw
parce que time bi ndaw na trop
time bi ndaw na
waaw so mobile bi
waaw
mobile benn laa bugga rek pour xam
waaw
yow noo amee sa téléphone bi nga amee ko nii
waaw
man suma bos screen bi yëpp toj na
waaw
waaye yow mu ngi mel ni defuloo protect sax
waaw
screen bi dara crackut sax
waaw because man dama ko dee tekki yaa trop because man suma lifin bi always suma pare daf dee nekk suma baak dama am simple phone bu ma dee doxee understand moo tax pour mu leer because aga yéen da ngeen dee jël seen bos di ko xajaane téye ko man nag du ma dee def
iPhone 14
waaw understand man nag du ma dee def loolu so man dama am simple phone bu nga xam ne boobu laa moo nekk nii gis nga man boobu laa dee use for so lii soo gisee ma use ko rek xam naa pour
so léegi Mr Lamin call ma xama jox la suma namba nga call ma
adama ubbi dama ko password suma lifin bi
waaw
Lamin danga ma bugga ne sali am na password phone
waaw
danga ko password nii
waaw ok
masha Allah
ok ñëw
na léegi koor ma foo nekk ni YouTube
gis nga YouTube laa ne ma doon dégg ma doon seetaan comme Lamin Sagnang ak Peter Gomez meññanta so moo nekk nii
moo nekk noonu si YouTube bi
moo nekk si YouTube bi so pour léegi maa ngi jógee YouTube léegi maa ngi gis nga WhatsApp 17
duga nga WhatsApp te yow rek day chat WhatsApp de
bañ a chat
lay lii toj nga
bañ a chat WhatsApp moo ko yor
so gis nga so WhatsApp soo buggee let's say léegi nga click ko so waaye lii am na ñu bari ñu ko dee mun a def blind people ñu bari ñu leen a teach so loolu moo tax maa ñëw fii pour explainer nit ñi pour ñu mun a understand ne blind people yu bari dañ ko mun a def so gis nga soo buggee message nga dem fii gis nga nga type sa message yes mun ngaa def nii ay lan nga bugga ma binda
dafa rek I miss you
okay
man mënuma lii
S miss su ma neexee ma def yu rek
waaw yu rek
ok ma seen
xaaral ma kon non foog ma jóg xoolal lii suma bopp ndax I miss you bi naka la fa demee
doo ma fa bàyyi
so
mu ngi nii
I miss you mu ngi nii
waaw mu ngi noonu I miss you
su ma neexee ma def yu su ma neexee ma def
you in full mu ngi noonu I miss you
so loolu la so many blind people yëpp ñu ko def pour soo gisee ñu dañ bëgg nit yi dimbale ñu employment opportunity so loolu soo ñëwee tam si laptop bi tam time
so Mr Lamin
yes
fi mu nekk nii next week
waaw
dañ la bëgg a invite
ok
nga ñëwaat wala ñu ñëw sa place
ok
ñaari buñ si am rek ñu jël ko because fi mu nekk nii
waaw
ñu ngi xaw a dugga si suñ social issue bi
ok
bi nga xam ne dañoo wax about psychosocial support te psychosocial support sax directly has to do with yéen tamit li ngeen a def so xam naa dinañ try ñëw sa place wala ñu invite la fii beneen yoon waaye jërëjëf appreciate nañ sa ñëw bi torop te kontaan nañ torop si liggéey bi nga def ba pare xam naa ne Ibrahima advice yi nga ko advice about ñaareeli jabaram bi dina ko jël in strong faith
yow yaa toog si télévision bi nga ne maa ngi taka ñaari jabar suma jabar mu ngi toog di seetaan
ay take it back bëgguma kenn
attaque ma message mu ne ma tey doo reer mu ne ma tey reer amul
thank you so much Mr Lamin so we will go for a short break and we'll be right back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds.
With the new Q Money app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy Q Power, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send Q Money, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at Q South Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boosterview Turntable. Contact us on 333-3217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
QCell, GSM company minna yirwa tariata Gambia Bankoka. QCell la 4G plus network ya banko bela mura. Andung ala internet o tariata sidula saba katambi nyongola. Saung sahin, yesta 335# kumandi. Yadati kemuna fang 4G sobe wala. QCell, Gambia la network lanna yaringo.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And now on our social issues, very, very important topic that has to do with a lot of misconceptions and all of that, which we're about to clear here. So we're joined by Madam Fatou Kiné Kantara, psychology lecturer at the University of the Gambia. My very own lecturer as well, while I was going to the university. So we will take a look at this short video, and the moment we come back, we will delve right into the topic. We'll be right back.
Yeah, it's a loose word out there now. Everybody is talking about psychosocial support. What is psychosocial support? Do we even know what that is? Do we know what counseling is? All of a sudden, everybody is a counselor. Everybody is doing psychosocial support. You see, these are serious things to look at.
All right, that's the question there. She's already asked the question to herself.
Exactly.
What is psychosocial support? Everybody's up to it now. What are the elements? What to look out for? What to do and what not to do? Let us know.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah. When I saw this, I was saying, oh, I wish they had talked about other things I said, but at least they talked about this, which is important. But I think it was, this clip was from the Mental Health Day that some organizations were celebrating, which was very important. But the main important thing I was talking about was first of all, to start with prevention. Prevention is better than cure. So to look at issues that are the causes of mental health in our society. And then also the discussion about psychosocial support. Everybody's talking about psychosocial support. So, you know, sometimes I get bemused by this. And I said, wow, do we even know what psychosocial support is? And it is important that if you're giving support to people who are suffering from some kind of mental challenge, I think it is important to know why. What is psycho, the mind? What is support, social support, how you socially support someone. So obviously psychosocial support is given to people who have any kind of issues that they have to deal with, like anxiety, depression, or any of those things that, or any kind of psychiatric problems that they need. Now, for people to give psychosocial support, there are certain qualities they need to have. Somebody have to really be an active listener. And in our society, sometimes it's very difficult for people to listen to people. I mean, you hear what people are saying, but active listening is very important. So, and a lot of people are talking about this, but I don't know of any training that is going on in psychosocial support. How do you give psychosocial support? What is psychosocial support? How do you go about doing this? These are key issues that we need to address. And the issues we need to address is, first of all, the people who are giving psychosocial support need to know what is psychosocial support. They need to have training on psychosocial support, and they need to be able to give this support to the people that need it, in terms of helping them to get back on their feet. You know, people who have suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, for example. And psychosocial support, first of all, have to do with learning skills. Learning skills, because if someone is depressed, or someone is suffering from anxiety, or someone is having post-traumatic stress, it means that something is disturbing them. Now, what is disturbing them? So you look at the factors of what is disturbing the person, and then you look at factors of how to enhance the person, give them skills to be able to deal with issues, like give them self-esteem training, give them critical thinking, so that at least when they think about something, they can say, okay, this is this, but actually it can also be that. Give them alternative ways to look at things, and help them in terms of stress management, how to manage their stress. Give them social skills as to exercises, going to the beach, doing exercises, deep breathing exercises. These are all good. And even dancing, even singing. I mean, having focus groups, sitting in round table, having candlelight, discussion. These are all psychosocial support skills that you can use to help people.
So my problem with listening groups in the Gambia is that come down them to listening group, wafa something may be confidential, and then the next minute
it's out.
It's out. So man, personally, listening groups maragal ko. So culture bobu tamit has to change, where people learn to be confidential about people's mental health issues.
Absolutely, you are very right. And this is why these support systems in our society, we have to have, if it has to be treated in a responsible way. That's what I was talking about. Because you cannot have these focus group discussions. You cannot have this candlelight discussion. You cannot have even this exercise group discussion in terms of the social support you're giving to people who are challenged by any kind of issue, without having somebody there to have confidentiality. Everybody have to sign a confidentiality paper, because you cannot talk about people's issues outside, and you have to group people, talk to them first. This is why the training is necessary, so that you can talk to people about these issues. These are serious things to look at. People's lives are not to be played with. So people need to know this, and then they need to know that, okay, whatever is said here, whatever we do here, it is strictly confidential. We are all in this together. First of all, they have to see that. So the person who is leading the support have to sign confidentiality. Everyone participating have to sign this confidentiality, so that we can help each other and also keep it quiet. You know, as you said, there are a lot of people who might be torn off to even go to a counselor because they are afraid of what the counselor is going to say. I mean, because people don't have that. Anxiety have to do with somebody who is worried. Depression have to do with somebody not understanding something. You see, when you go into a depression, it is very deep. It can be very harmful because you are in a state of darkness. I would call it, I would use, you know, to put it point blank, it's like you are in a state of darkness. You're in a state of gloominess. You don't know whether there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You don't feel like getting up in the morning. You don't feel like washing. You don't feel like interacting with people. All these are serious signs of depression. Now, anxiety, on the other hand, you might just be anxious about everything. Like, for example, you might be, oh, I'm going to be late for work. Oh, what am I wearing? Am I doing this thing right? Am I doing, you know,
being worried about
anxious.
tomorrow, like what is happening tomorrow? Is it part of anxiety?
Yeah, well, it's, you know, to be worried about tomorrow is normal. To think about, you know, I mean, this is why I even said that, you know, even stress is important. You have to, a bit of stress can help you to achieve things. But when it escalates, like when you start worrying about everything and nothing, then it becomes a problem. But obviously, like, for example, oh, tomorrow I have a lot of things to do. So how am I going to plan it? Rather than sitting down and, oh, I'm worried, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? You know, I don't even know if I'm able to do this tomorrow. Then this is going to be really bad for your mental health.
Why are you pointing fingers at
That's
me?
how they
But
she's a psychologist.
She's always complaining. I want to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, but personally, that kind of works for me. Like you said, it's always good to have a little bit of stress which
of course,
pushes you. Because the moment I have that, it pushes me to do better because I want to completely get rid of it. And there's always every day something that you want to achieve. So it's part of just everything. But how do you see current dynamics? Because young people, for some reason now, kind of understand mental health a little bit and are focused on safeguarding. The psychosocial support bit, I don't think we're halfway there when it comes to achieving it because the understanding is not there. But I see how young people recently are really putting in efforts to safeguard their mental health when they see something wrong in their environment or just any other thing, family or something. I'm seeing those changes at my own level with my mates and stuff. So I think it's really changing. Are you aware of that?
Well, yeah, because I think at the university what we are trying to do there is, you know, we have a lot of students who are doing psychology because it's general requirement. So we have students from all the departments who are doing it, from the different schools, so what we do is try to get them to be aware of what mental health is. So they are taken to Tanka Tanka. After they go through studying this topic of abnormality, what are the causes of mental health? I mean, issues that people might have, and the different explanations and the treatments. So they go to Tanka Tanka and they visit. And when they come out, it helps to humble them. It gives them a better understanding. It gives them a sense of empathy also, so that at least they can relate to people. And when they go there, sometimes they come with their surprise because there is this notion that somebody is mentally ill, so they don't know anything. And so when they go there and have conversations and interaction with people who are there, they come out there asking themselves, wow, I didn't know that so-called crazy people would think like that. I think the previous speaker talking about even the blindness, you know, so sometimes when people are so-called blind, people think that they don't know this, they don't know that, not knowing that when you are blind, your other senses are heightened up.
They're like, you know, way up there.
I remember one of our students in one of the classes in psychology, forensic psychology, and everybody, we were talking about, you know, interaction between men and women, and everybody was saying, oh, he doesn't have to worry about it because he's blind. And I'm like, he's the one you should be careful of.
Yeah, because he can simply
has more feelings. Yes, he can smell you from a distance. But it's the same thing with mental health, because we have this notion that key Dofla. What does Dof mean? You see what I'm saying? You know, we went to Tanka Tanka one time, and somebody asked, somebody who is there asked one of the students, can you give me $5? And the student was like, only $5? He said, yes. I know $10 is more than 5, but I only need 5. That's why I asked you for 5.
Yeah.
So the student was like taken aback
What is
because
happening?
yes,
you know, a scenario like that. I went to Kiang, is it Karantaba, with one of my colleagues, and there is this mental guy that said to the man, "Look, I watch your programs on TV all the time. They are very interesting."
Yes.
You know, I was surprised.
You were.
I was
Of
like,
course,
"What?
yeah. Yes.
How can he say this thing?" And it's true. This guy is a presenter. You know, I was surprised.
Yes. Yeah, because of our notion of what mental, you know. So that is why I think the society should understand what mental health is and try to deal with it and be more empathetic, because sometimes it might just be, you know, a minor thing that you need. You know, you just need medication, or you just need therapy, you just need counseling to get you away from that, because some of it can be a learned behavior, some of it can be a distortion.
Talking about therapy, in Gambia here, Duffy, therapy. You know, sometimes I sit here, I think we've had an argument when I said, oh, this person should go for therapy, and you're looking at me like, Jenna Basibopam Duffla. You know, that's how they look at you if you suggest therapy for people. Also, therapy, man, fogu mane come, so I'm a mental health issues. Of course not. Sometimes, manamako gise as, mabuga kuma deglu. Sometimes, dara was the Gambia, need to jill time and put deglu la. Says Madame Ibrahim Balde, amlumako experience, and I find, hey, kid of a foolish. So you use those people for lulu no. So I think you should enlighten them.
I think that, that's a notion that people have, that people who are mentally challenged are the only ones who need. Everybody needs therapy. I always tease my students and say, if I have somebody to give me therapy, I'll go.
Exactly.
You know. And therapy and, you know, counseling, these are privileged things for people to have. Even in the West, only people who have money can have this easily, because, you know, you can have 1 hour can cost up to £100 an hour, you know. So all these so-called rich people, celebrities that people are worshipping, they all have their therapists.
They go there.
Yeah, because obviously talking to someone, because therapy is a skill, you have to actively listen. And most of us don't know about active listening. So the active listening part would help the person to reconstruct their own thoughts, actually, to reconstruct their own thoughts. And that would help them to deal with any issues that they have. So that is why therapy is good for all of us, because it helps us to enhance our lives better in terms of our skills, our job, our marriage life.
We have a lot of young people that are walking in the streets now. I mean, you will look at them and say, I mean, if these people, they got the right guidance, I mean, they will come back.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
I mean, but I mean, society, it's very sad. People point at them, you know, and do certain things to them.
Absolutely.
You know, at some point, they get mad quickly.
Absolutely. You know, and these are issues that our society have to also be aware of, because somebody might just be having a mild OCD, for example, an obsessive compulsive disorder. I always tease students and said, you know, you have an auntie who have a mild OCD and they like to clean and all that, obsessively clean. And then you tease them. When they clean, you take leaves and just throw it there so that she does it again. So actually, you are actually frustrating that person to actually move from mental distress to mental illness. You understand? So sometimes by teasing people, by looking at them, by shunning them, by treating them badly, because sometimes I see a lot of young people who nothing is wrong with them, actually. It's just that they need help. They are really out because some of them, it might be because of poverty, some of them, they just came to the city centers and they don't know what to do. Maybe they are frustrated about wanting to go abroad. But you can see that, and you know, they become homeless. And therefore they act as if something is wrong with them. They don't have a place to shower and all that. So you know, I mean, these are issues that we have to address, like having centers where people can go and have a break and just be able to wash themselves, just be able to sit down and have a counseling session with somebody. This will bring back a lot of young people, because there are a lot of things that we need to address in our society. A lot of people think, well, I don't have a job, but they don't know that they can create jobs.
Exactly.
You know, like what, you know.
So, doctor, I'm not questioning. It's the reason is because sometimes hey, ñu dé jàng psychology, ñi nga xamné psychologist lañ dañ goma di yalla. Because then they question yalla. you know, and I'm seeing Dr. Hamga, she's all covered up. You know what I mean? Like you are just into your religion fully.
Absolutely.
So munuma duma di muna understand lan la nit ñi mean ci lool misconception bu bon bobu ki su defé sa ki su nekké psychology dañ dé wédi yalla o dañ goma di yalla o dañ dé wax né yalla amul. I'm like, guys, please.
It's because I think because a lot of people don't understand what psychology is. Psychology has I always said, even when you check the Quran, psychology is in the Quran. You know, psychology is everywhere, because psychology talks about socialization, how you socialize your children. It talks about weaning children. It talks about you know, reciprocal. It talks about orphanage. And all these things are things that psychology take very seriously. But because we don't know psychology, that is why. And because most psychologists, I always bring like, say, for instance, somebody like Carl Jung. Carl Jung said that the mind that is not anchored to God is like lost in their blandishment in worldly life. And Carl Jung was one of the major psychologists, you know, psychotherapy. So some psychologists are atheists, but a lot of psychologists are Muslims or Christians for that matter. And a lot of people who have studied psychology know that most of the theories of psychology are coming from the Injil or from the Torah or from the Quran. You understand? So there are a lot of things that a lot of people have written journals and have written books about even some of Sigmund Freud's theory, where he's getting it from, all the different psychosocial, psychosexual development stages. So psychology have nothing to do with religion.
Thank you so much, madam, for joining us. I think that is all we have time for, but it has been an interesting conversation. Looking forward to the next one. So Ibrahima, I'll be joining you now every Mondays and Tuesdays. So I'll see you all. Oh, okay. So yeah, seems I don't get that part. But anyway, that is all we have time for. Thank you so much, madam, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
The conversation on mental health really needs to continue. It really needs to continue.
Thank you.
So till we come your way tomorrow with another interesting program. Bye.